it's not about the market, it's about your...
Agent Power Huddle is a daily jumpstart, giving you all the tools you need to create an amazing real estate career. Led by top experts in the field, you'll learn how to sell more houses in less time while creating the life you want. Welcome to the Agent Power Huddle.
Welcome everybody to the Agent Power Huddle. It's not the market, it's your... We're going to fill in that blank today. I'm here today with my co-host Shay Black and our amazing guest, Mike Jeppson. I'm Jesse Zagorsky. Mike, go ahead and say hello.
Hello, everyone. I'm excited.
Shay, say hello.
Excited to get going.
Hello, good morning. All right, that was our audio check. Check this out. So here's a fun fact about Mike, because today's about Mike. It's not about me. It's not about Shay. I mean, it's a little bit about Shay, but it's more about Mike. Mike has been probably one of the most consistent, listeners on this Agent Power Huddle, because I see him all the time. And then one day Shay was like, do you know who Mike is? He's a rock star in our industry. I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, dude, this dude's amazing. Like, why is he sitting here all quiet in the background of Agent Power Huddle? I want him to actually share some of this knowledge. Not just, I'm glad he's here listening. And so we had his wife, his partner, Paige, right, on a few weeks ago. And she was incredible, right? Runs a team leader. And then we're like, okay, well, let's get Mike on. And so he's going to be talking about his acid test. There's an acid test, just acid. We're going to talk about acid in real estate. And we're going to fill in the blank. And it's not the market, it's your blank. And so Shay Black's going to lead most of this interview. Shay's the one introducing to Mike. Shay's an incredible multi-team expansion agent. Shay, where should we start with Mike today?
I know this is going to be a fun time talking about acid in the real estate market. Mike has been a long-time listener, first-time caller, and excited to talk to him about this thing. This is something he's very passionate about and teaches his agents. He runs a 500 agent brokerage in the Palm Springs area for HomeSmart. Yep. And so this is a big thing that he's passionate about and that he teaches often. Is that right, Mike?
That's right. Yep.
Well, maybe tell us a little bit about this.
Teach it to us. What is acid in real estate?
Do I have the ability to share my screen?
I hope so.
Okay. Let me look at that, and then we'll dig right in. They switched me over to Google Meet, so going back to this Zoom thing, I mean, that's so.
It looks like you're a co-host. So in the middle on the bottom, it should say share screen. There you go. And if you're listening to the audio only version of this podcast, just know that Mike is sharing the most mind-blowing slides you will ever see right now. And if you check the podcast show notes,
missing out. You got to plug in live in order to see this gold.
Yeah.
So
this acid stuff's trippy. You got to be seeing.
Can you see my screen? We're good? Okay.
Yes,
so acid, the way I explained this, don't get too excited. This is not like a Grateful Dead concert thing. This is not that type of acid. You could think of it more probably like battery acid, because you're going to go out and just burn through the competition. That's really what's happening here. But
that's good.
When it goes back to the title of the show, we're looking at, it's not about the market, it's about your mindset. And as Jesse mentioned, being a guest secretly hiding in the dark corner of this call over and over again, one of the things is that probably nothing you're going to hear today is new stuff, right? But that goes with the territory. Ed Milet, who we'll talk about a little later, he has a concept that leadership is not about saying new things to new people. It's about saying old things to new people and to old people, right? The same things over and over. That's what it comes down to. So the acid test, the acid concept came to me. Really, acid, it just was the best way in playing with these words of how to kind of put it together in a memorable way that we can talk about. And I love the acronyms. I started my career with Keller Williams. If you spend any time in their training, for sure it's all about the acronyms, and if you know stuff. But where I'm going with this, a lot of this actually came from this Agent Power Huddle call. And what I mean by that is these same concepts you hear over and over and over again, and I needed a way to package them to get it out to as many agents as possible, right? Hoping that you'll listen, plug in. It's easy to write down, but And conceptually, it's easy to do. It's very simple. It just doesn't get done, right? But so let's talk about these concepts. I hope that you've heard them before, but let's go through them. Let's start at the top, though, with your mindset. It all begins, and keep in mind, these are my opinions, but I coach and train and deal with a lot of realtors every single day, and clients as well, and their clients. Keep in mind, I'm a managing broker, right? So it all starts with the belief in yourself and the belief that you deserve success, right? I feel, honestly, that's an issue that many of us struggle with, is just the thought that we deserve to have that. I had a conversation recently, someone's comparing their dismal results to the people they're seeing on social media, right? And actually someone great used the word, well, you're comparing to their highlight reel, right? And it's like, that's just not reality, but you still need a belief in yourself and believe that you can do real estate deals, you're the best option, and that you deserve success, right?
It's a really great point, because I've said that for a long time, is that the really successful people, I mean, I'm talking about actors, anybody that's huge in the media, whatever, the main difference is they believe they deserve it, and they'll do whatever it takes to get it. So that is huge mindset.
And confidence is not arrogance. Keep that in mind. It can be, but don't confuse the two. You have to be confident to go get that listing that you're trying to get today, right?
Can I give you something, Mike?
Yeah.
Check this out, because you're totally right. It's between confidence and arrogance. I want to see how this sits with you, because I was on a call with one of my mentors last week, and there's like 500 people in this call, and he had us write down 9 words. Ready? I want to see if this because when you're talking confidence and arrogance and the belief in yourself, he had everybody write this down, guys. You can go, I am worthy. I am deserving. I am capable. I am worthy. I am deserving. I am capable. 9 words, and it summed up everything. And I was like, how's that sit with you, Mike?
That sits really well with me. I mean, it adds to my concept, and actually that capable thing, we'll revisit that here shortly. But I love it. So let's go through this. The asset, accountability, right? Again, this is not brain science. This is nothing new. You've heard all of these words before, just probably not packaged in this way. But when I say accountability, I say get it now. Okay. I am a huge advocate. If you have not read Napoleon Hill's classic Think and Grow Rich, read it now. Start today. One of my main concepts from that book is the power of the mastermind. His math is that 1 + 1 = 3. So think about that. I'm huge on that. And I truly believe most people who find great success, whether it's in our industry or any other industry, it's because they understand that concept. That, you and I together are going to accomplish so much more than either of us are ever going to accomplish on our own. And I know Jesse and Shay, I can see them shaking their heads like, yeah, that's true. And, so plug into that, read the book, but, get yourself accountability. I often use, and we hear this a lot in our industry and training, but I liken it to a gym. Right? It's January. Well, it's the 20-something of January. So everyone who joined the gym with that resolution is already given up for the most part. But my concept is related to, I'm a broker. I watch agents come and go daily, right? And their production never really changes. So it's is it 24-Hour Fitness's fault that you decided to stop working out? Or, should we blame Orange Theory now? Using the concept that you need accountability, but you need to plug that to the next step here. Consistency is what gets results. I manage 500 agents among 3 offices. I see who shows up, right? I know who shows up consistently. And guess what? It's no mystery. They're the same agents that close transactions month in and month out, right? That doesn't mean you need to be in an office in order to produce results, but it means you need to show up for yourself and you need to show up for your business, right? Wherever you're doing that plugs into intentionality. Are you showing up at the office to use the printer, right? To talk to your broker and that was a good day for you? Or are you showing up with an intentional plan that you do consistently? How many calls are you making? Who are you calling, right? Calling your best friend is probably not a good use of your prime prospecting time. It was a good conversation. It just didn't move the needle at all towards your goal of closing a real estate transaction or a stack of them, right? Discipline. This is where it gets tough, right? I mean, understanding that it's up to you, your broker, your team leader. Well, maybe team leader a little different, but they don't owe you anything. Nobody owes you anything, right? It's up to you to plug into all of these concepts and all of the things you can learn here on the Power Huddle and make it happen for yourself, right? I think the number one thing most of us lack is the discipline to intentionally show up. And I'm going to plug all my words in here. Consistently show up to do these things. And we lack an accountability partner besides maybe our spouse at home. And that's not an accountability partner. They're only going to be disappointed if you don't produce, right? They don't care about your effort and the fact that you showed up at the end of the month or the start of the month. Where are we at, right? So you really need to focus on these things, whether that's a coach, whether that's a team leader, your upline. Many of you with EXP, you have many resources of who you can plug into, to get that, I don't know if call it the next step, but just that push and motivation that's needed in order to get this done. And what is getting what done? Well, again, no matter the market, if you've been in this business for longer than maybe a month or two, maybe a little longer than that, but hear me out, you'll notice it's the same people over and over, right? We had our top producer lunch last week. It's the same people every single time with an occasional one-off who either sold a high-priced home or they just decided to plug in, right? And put in the effort over and over and over again. Move to my next slide because, how I do things. Jesse mentioned, it's like, this is the most consistent guy plugging into our call. There's a reason for that. I have a 20-minute drive to the office in the morning, which lends itself very well. But in addition, I know for a fact, because I keep doing it over and over, everything you hear is not going to resonate with you. However, you're generally going to hear at least one thing that if you truly took that thing and plugged in immediately, you would have results. You would find success. So I've realized this recently with my wife. We had her on here. She was on a couple weeks ago on Paige. And I would hear all these things and come home in the evening and just unload them on her, right? 10 different things. And I'm just sharing ideas that we're hearing, thinking she's going to pick up on one and run with it. She eventually tells me, she's like, dude, you have to stop. Like, all you're making me feel is that I'm not doing enough and that I suck at this job. And when I am just spewing off all of these beautiful ideas, they're like, hey, if you did this, that would work. If you did this, that would work. And so that really caused me to stop and think, right? I'm like, whoa, you are so right, because that is not my intention to overwhelm you. My intent is to just share all of these amazing things that I'm hearing, because I've been around long enough to know that any one of these things will work. My encouragement to all of you on this call would be, pick one, maybe two, depending on your bandwidth, but pick one of them and just start doing it immediately. I termed this phrase years ago. A mentor I had to move on eventually, because he was always making a plan to make a plan to make a plan. You ever heard that? You ever thought of that? Like, stop making plans to make plans and just do something.
Getting ready to get ready to get ready.
Right. Yesterday, Well, no, it was yesterday, Monday. Susan, I believe, the Mindset Monday leader, I literally snagged this right from her. That's what we do in real estate. We copy, okay? I only borrowed it, actually, Susan, because it lends so well to what my whole concept is. I'd never seen this graphic before, but I thought it was amazing. When I went back and looked at it, I'm like, mindset. So the market is the same for everyone, right? Good, bad, flat, whatever is happening, it's the same for everyone. So why is it that the same people continue to find success over and over and over again? And in my observation, it doesn't matter if you're new. It doesn't matter if you've been around. I mean, the worst thing, right? You get the call, like, I've been doing this for 35. Oh, geez. No, like, is that good? Is that bad? It doesn't really matter, because someone who's been in a year might have the same transactional experience as someone who's been in for 10, right? And I believe, I don't know, because we've never talked about this, but, probably a reason that Jesse brings on awesome guests who aren't 10-year agents is because they're newer and they're sharing with you things that they are doing right now that are producing the results. Well, let's be honest. Those results are closing transactions and making money, right? Because that's what it takes to survive in this business. We all like to help people. Trust me when I tell you. But at the end of the day, helping people only takes you so far. You have to help enough people that your bills are paid, and ultimately you have more to invest and make other moves so that maybe you don't have to be selling homes, and dealing with clients forever. I want to do that, but you get the point. We have to be intentional about where we're going. I wanted to share a couple of things as we move along here. This, again, I tend to look at things from a basic standpoint and just repeat what I hear that I know will work or that is relevant. This snapshot came right out of, if you're not in California, wouldn't have had access to this, but this, I don't have it sitting here. It's the monthly California Association of Realtors magazine that they send you if you're a realtor in California, a member of the state association. This came right out of it. It resonated with me. Maybe it will for you. Again, I shared it with my wife. She didn't like that because she thought that was putting too much pressure on her. But look at this, 8,500 coaching calls with the top 1% of agents in the country. That's not me, by the way. I left off whoever wrote this, but a top coach, I would say. And they analyzed people doing 10 closings a year and those doing 100. What I wanted to focus on specifically was down here at the leverage part. And if you look at that, leverage, 10 closings, they're doing it all on their own. They're doing 10 closings. That's respectable. But look over there, 100 closings. They're asking for help and they're hiring talent, right? Why do you think I'm on this call every day that I'm physically able to be on the call? Yeah, I'm not asking for help, but I'm getting help. And most of the things I'm sharing with you today, trust me, I've been around for a while, but it's all the same repetitive stuff that's talked about over and over. Go ahead, Jesse.
I don't want to interrupt it. I just want to make a distinction because I want people listening to truly understand you are a rock star. And I don't say that lightly. Like, you run a 500 agent brokerage. You know more about real estate than almost any. Like, I'm testing Shay here in the message, like, right, because it's incredible. Like, I'm truly never heard you talk like this because I don't know that much about you. And yet you are here every day learning when half the people in our industry don't even know things like this exist. Like, I don't care if it's Agent Power Huddle or whatever you're doing, you are still learning consistently. And I think that growth mindset and the fact, like, it's not the knowledge, it's getting yourself to consistently plug in and get into action. That's what's the differentiator. And it's mindset. Would you agree with that, Mike?
I would agree. I would totally agree.
Like I just want to stay on mute because I'm loving this. Like, I'm learning. Like, I love learning. Like, you're a fantastic trainer. Just keep going. Like, this is fantastic.
So a couple more things here, and we'll move on. But one of the things I love, the lead source, obviously, lead receiver. You got to be a lead generator if you want to be producing. If you're a team leader, your goal is to be a team leader. you got to focus on the value of the lead. You know, that there's a lot to be said there. All of these things I think are spot on. Buyers and sellers, yes, focus on sellers. We all know, you've been around longer than 10 minutes. You know the goal to leverage yourself with sellers. But another important one, the standards, right? 10 a year, they don't know what they are or change them often, right? That would be something like, well, I don't list for less than 6%. And then you walk into the appointment and walk out with a 4% listing, something like that. This isn't about commissions. I'm not getting in those weeds, but it's about the standard, right? What do you say you're going to do, and what do you actually do, or what do you actually allow? Right there. Those producing at a high level, they know what their standards are and they uphold them. So something to consider, you know, in all areas of life. But I recommend you kind of think about this and plug in, because it's no mystery. Next, I want to fly through here some Power Huddle nuggets, right? So again, this is just regurgitating a few of the things. At a later time, we can talk about the alarms. Shay and I went over this thing, but I joke about all of these alarms I have going off all day, and the main reason for them is literally because when I'm driving, listening to these calls, I'm taking notes of these nuggets that I'm hearing. They're like, oh my gosh, if you did that, you would find so much success. And so here's a couple of them. I don't have the source of all of these, you know, but I'm sure Jesse or Shay, somebody knows who said these things, but these are not my material. Okay. But one gentleman talked about engaging in conversations, and he had a whole plan about how many people he's going to, maybe that was even Jesse, or he was talking about it, but just keeping these conversations going constantly, you know, and are you doing that? There was someone, we talked about goals, and then the question that just smacked me in the face was, instead of setting, you know, you want longer term goals as well, but that question was like, what are you going to achieve in the next 30 days? And write that down and take action on that, right? I know for a fact we all have amazing plans. We have amazing ideas. The problem is, if we've written them down, we rarely revisit them. And if we do revisit them, we rarely take action, right? To pursue those goals or that plan, whatever it is. I told you we would revisit the capable thing. I'm not sure which of your amazing presenters said this, but again, this smacked me in the face too. Like, everyone is 100% capable, including you, right? Like, you are capable of getting that $3 million listing in your Honda Accord, right? Stop talking about needing this car, or you got to have a Porsche, or is there a place for all of those things? Absolutely, right? But people work with who? They hire the agent they like and trust, right? Having flashy things doesn't always create those feelings, right? Sometimes it does. But everyone is 100% capable of doing whatever it is that you want. Customizing a menu of options. I think Linnea Carver talked about this, and you're not plugging into the Friday call. You're really missing a lot of nuggets every single Friday, every week. But customize a menu of listings. You know, what do you think the future holds in our industry based on everything that's going on? I'm not giving you an answer. I have opinions. I'm sure Shay has opinions, and Jesse and everyone on the call, you know, but please utilize your thought process. Please utilize, you know, your power of thinking of the future and prepare accordingly, right? We don't have answers. We don't have crystal balls, but we do have information. Okay. Next thing, I'm going to move along. So these are some things that when I borrow other people's concepts and, you know, think of my own. So some of these are some things I'm doing and, you know, have just thought of to share with you. Okay. First one is this quote: you earn based on the value you bring, right? They pay me well because I pay attention and plug into Agent Power Huddle, right? It takes about this much, might even been on one of these calls. Someone talked about takes about that much to stay ahead of everyone else. 5 days a week, you have an opportunity to plug in and learn something any given day that will make you tons of money if you do it, right? You earn based on the value you bring. Again, something for us all to seriously consider as the industry moves into the future. Define that as you will. Okay? Your content library is your future business. I made that up yesterday. Think about it, though. Do you have a content library? Do you even know what that is? Right? Well, that could be a YouTube channel, right? That could be your social media, but understand, people are all about video. I'm horrible at this. I just don't do what I do what I say, right? Because I pay attention. My wife hates that too. But in all reality, I truly believe that, your content library will be your future business. That's going to be your future testimonials. That's going to be people in this day and age. They're looking on Google. If you're interested in the reviews course, there's probably 20, videos in the Power Huddle library, going over all of these reviews and Google page, your business page, and all of this stuff, right? All necessary. One step at a time, though. The next thing, this one I did hear about a while ago right here. I added the previewing part, but you could launch a relevancy challenge. Maybe you get yourself an accountability partner. I call it the relevancy challenge because the agents in your market who are all over social media and everyone perceives them to be relevant in the industry. How do you think that happened? Well, they decided that they're going to be relevant, so they grabbed their phone, right, and they just started filming themselves. The same thing none of us want to do.
I love that so much. Did you create the relevancy challenge?
I added the previewing homes part, but I believe it was one of your people that posted this maybe 6 months ago or a while back.
Because I didn't see that one. This is, by the way, we should do this autumn. Gian, will you make a note?
They did just the live video. They did 30 days live video. I added for my agents to preview 30 homes and make yourself an expert in the market that you want to be in.
Right, but check this out. Like, if every so often you came on here and did the best of Agent Power Huddle for the last month, because you're such a connoisseur and you put this together, man, we'll talk offline. I'd love to get on call offline, schedule Mike, ought to make a note. We can talk about this is fantastic. You put this together, but then this relevancy challenge, dude, this is adding the 30-day previewing homes. It's a fake until you make a challenge. You're just telling the world, I'm a busy agent. I love this. Keep going. This
right.
So good.
Well, and not only that though, for you agents, if you're newer, you're previewing homes. The worst thing that can happen is you go meet a new buyer. You go to show them this beautiful home and you can't find the lockbox and the alarm's going off because you didn't read the instructions, right? Go the day before, right? Go drive up and look at the house. Know what you're doing. That all adds to your value. Trust me. I've learned all of these things the hard way. I know in a matter of time, let's move along. What I want to say here, starting today. If any of you are in Southern California, we've never talked about this, but I guarantee Jesse and Shay, they got to know this guy. His name's Eric Gilman. Are you guys familiar with Eric, the Cutco guy?
Oh, he's my homie.
Yeah.
Too.
So if you don't know Eric, you should meet him. He's awesome. He's an awesome presenter. One of the things we had him out for a meeting here recently, but one of the things so I changed my slide number 2, to do one thing. Just do one thing today, right? My said, take action. Eric's thing was no excuses and take massive action. And I'm like, I like that, right? So again, it all relates back to the mindset, but understanding that, I know full well, better than anyone, this is overwhelming amount of information. That's why I want to take it back to pick one of these things. Hopefully you took some pictures or I can send the slides out. However we can do that. But my goal for you is to take one thing, take action. I do have a couple of books. I know we're out of time. 2 books I recommend for all of you. would be The Power of One More by Ed Milet. So someone I definitely plug into. And I will tell you from experience, these two books, like most books, they will change your life if you allow them to. Okay? You have to be honest with yourself and allow it to happen. Power of One More by Ed Milet. The next one is The Top 5 Regrets of the Dying. It's by an author named Bronnie Ware. And if you're not familiar with that book, I recommend, if that's the one thing you do today, get it and read the book. It's really a process of self-discovery, I believe. But the concept really becomes that we are products of our environment, right? You're a product of your environment. So what are you exposing yourself to? And are you doing that proactively or reactively, right? Are you just allowing things to happen, or are you proactively making them? And so that's about all I got. I know we're out of time. I'd love to come back. We can revisit it. We can do whatever.
Mike, 100% yes. Those of you on camera, I just want you to give a thumbs up, wave your hands if you're like, I learned something, at least one, if not 7 things today, right? Everybody waving their hands except for Steve is typing, I imagine. Steve, thumbs up. Okay, there you go. He raises his hand too. All right. So those of you who aren't on camera, drop a 1 in the chat box if you're like, yes, because I'm literally typing away with Autumn, who's our executive producer for this, saying, I'd love to schedule Mike on a regular basis, whether it's once a month, whatever you have bandwidth for, to take not only your concepts, but the ideas you're synthesizing from other agent power huddles, because I miss half the stuff, and you have a great way of taking this and putting it together and getting agents to utilize the information is your superpower. It's not just teaching, it's getting people to put it into bite-sized pieces. And Mike, gosh, like I know Paige gave you a hard time. Paige is on mute. She can't even defend herself. They gave you a hard time for all those alerts that are going off all day long, but they're doing something good because you're reminding you these things to do. So I'm grateful that you're in here. This is fantastic. Shay, thank you for introducing us to Mike. Mike, any last thoughts before we wrap it all up?
Well, and I just want to say thank you right back at you. I mean, a lot of this stuff is the way I process, and, what I do for work is much different probably than the agents. I came from the trenches though. But what I'd say is thank you for this space and for putting this on every day, and allowing someone like me to join on. But just for everyone, I'd say plug in. There's so much value that is to be had. And so just say again, thank you, Jesse. Thank you, Shay, for reaching out. It's not like I raised my hand and was like, hey guys, come grab me, so they kind of went through the process.
Like, come here.
I appreciate
come here.
it. I'm introverted. And so thank you for reaching out and just allowing this platform. And then someone asked the second book. It's called The Top 5 Regrets of the Dying.
It's been so impressive. I haven't had anything to say because I wanted to keep hearing you talk more, Mike. This was honestly amazing. Perfect.
That's for me too. Like, so I'm sitting, by the way, I'm sitting in a hotel room. I could turn I'm sitting literally in an empty ballroom because we're doing an in-person mastermind starting in half an hour. And then I'm in Maui at a mastermind next week. When I get back, we're going to schedule a call, Mike, you, me, Shay. We're going to game plan. I'd love to go deeper if you're open to this.
You got it, but I'll warn you. I mean, Shay and I turned a 30-minute call into like 2 hours. So
we sure did.
How this started. So
all right, we'll do it. We'll do it on a Friday. I take Fridays off, so I'm wide open every Friday. I got no hard stop. All right,
love it. All right,
have a wonderful day, guys. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye, guys. Thanks, Mike. It's amazing. If you'd like more information or to get connected to the Agent Power Huddle, join our free Facebook group. This call was designed for the agents in our EXP organization, but open to any agent from any brokerage. If you're a guest and you're interested in learning more about EXP or our specific resources within the Agent Collective, reach out to the person who invited you to this call to get more info. Produced by the Agent Collective Media Network.